since we're adding fractions, we need a common denominator. So that way we see what's going on. I'm going to write this the long way. So I'm going to write this as 3 and then x squared. I'm going to write it out. Looks like this. And then y cubed looks like this. And we have x times y to the 4th. Alright, so now let's find the common denominator. Okay, so to find the common denominator, first of all, I'm going to take the first fraction, and I see a 3. So I need a 3, so that way that will cancel out with that one. Okay, then I see that there's 2 x's here, so I'm going to put 2 x's out here. And then when I distribute this here, this x will cancel out with that one, and this x will cancel out with that one. Okay, then when I distribute here, I see that there are 3 y's, so I also need 3 y's. So that way, these 3 y's will cancel out with these 3 y's. Okay, now if we look over here, I see that there's an x here. But that x is going to cancel out, this x is going to cancel out with this x here. So I don't need more x's. I already have enough that will make that one cancel out. Okay, then I have this y, which would cancel out with that y, this y, which would cancel out with this y with this y, but I need one more. So I need to put another y here. So I need to add on another y. So now, our common denominator, if I write it in a more simplified manner, our common denominator would be 3x squared y to the 4th. That would be our common denominator. So our common denominator, if we look here, it's always the one with the higher exponent. So x squared is higher, so we had an x squared as part of our common denominator. And 4 was bigger than 3 here, so our common denominator had the higher exponent. So now that we have our common denominator, we're going to write that in the denominator. Then we're going to take our 7 and our 4. And now if we distribute this here, again, this 3 will cancel out with this 3. This x squared will cancel out with this x squared. But what we have here is we're going to have 3 here, and we're going to have 4 here. So those 3 are going to cancel out with those 3, but there's going to be 1 left. And that y needs to be multiplied to that 7 there. So we're going to put a y here with the 7. It needs to be multiplied by it. Alright, now let's take a look here. When I distribute this here, we're going to have, if I think of this written out, this x is going to cancel out with that x. And then we have those 4 y's canceling out with those 4 y's. And what we're going to have is this 3 and this x that has to be multiplied by this 4. That will not cancel out. So we have the 3 and the x here. Alright, now we're going to simplify. So here we just have our 7y. And then here we have 12x. And then the very last step is to see if this can be simplified further, which it can't. There's nothing that goes into 7 and 12, and there is no common variable to factor out. So this is our final answer.